What's up, everyone? Kyle here. Welcome to another edition of Our Travel Tips. Today I'm talking about American stereotypes and how we can kind of combat against that and some of the negative things that might happen because of being American when we're traveling abroad. So let's start first with some of the typical stereotypes that I would say get put on us Americans when we're traveling to other countries. So, one, usually we're loud, which I can attest to as well. Um, Americans can be really loud. Generally speaking, we are a pretty loud culture. And along with that, obnoxious would be another stereotype. You especially see this like out at a bar or a restaurant or something like that. We like to be noisy and lively and enjoy the meal and have conversations and everything like that. And usually the volume increases as we drink and eat more and talk more. But that's not always the case in a lot of other cultures. Take, for instance, Italy. They're usually very reserved and very quiet during their meals when they're out at a restaurant or something like that. So that can be a stereotype that we get. It can be a negative thing when we're abroad. Some cultures might not like how loud and obnoxious we are. Also, I would say we're very happy as a culture. I would say this is a good one, but generally we're considered very happy. We're very smiley, friendly. That would be another stereotype is we're very friendly. Not all cultures are like that as well. We're very open and smiling and happy, especially us West Coasters, being someone who grew up on the West Coast. I can attest to West Coast Americans being very open and friendly, very laid back and chill, compared to the East Coast or other parts of the world. So sometimes that might come across in a bad way in other cultures. They might not like that we're so happy and friendly and smiling all the time. But I think generally speaking, that is a good thing, that we are that way. But something to note when we're abroad for sure. Um, this one is a personal pet peeve of mine, something that I've tried to work on personally. It's very hard for me, but one of the big stereotypes that we get is that we only know English. We only know American culture and politics and things like that, and it comes across as we don't really care about the rest of the world or expect everyone to kind of cater towards us. Um, and this is one that I think, in having talked with a lot of people from around the world, I think this is probably the biggest one that irks people from other cultures is that we don't even try to understand the language, understand the culture, and kind of try to fit in with the culture or the language. So that's one that I'll talk about more here in a minute. But definitely we have the stereotype of only knowing English, only caring about American culture and politics, and expecting that when we're abroad to be catered towards our American ways. Um, the other two that I would note here is that we can be considered maybe self-centered, individualistic, and considered wealthy. Now, wealthy compared to the rest of the world, that's generally speaking true. I think it's something like, and I hate to say the statistic, but if you make about $40,000 here in the U.S., you make more than about 99% of the world, um, on average. So we're considered in the top 1% if you're making 40,000 plus dollars, or maybe 44,000 plus, something like that. So other countries, other people in other countries know that we have money compared to their culture, their country, and they know that the U.S. dollar is a very strong currency. It's kind of the peg of the world. It's what everything is essentially based on for the most part, and so that can make us a target for potentially negative things, for maybe some bad people out there to target us because they know that we have money. Even if, compared to other people in the US, we don't have a lot of money, we still are going to be considered to have money and be wealthy, and that can make us a target for some potentially bad things. So that's one thing to note as well. So I'll touch on those two things: being wealthy and only knowing English, being very focused on America when we're abroad. So if I had two, these are the two biggest pieces of advice I have for anyone traveling abroad. The first one and most important one being just try to understand the culture that you're in. Try the foods. Try to speak some of the language. Just the basics. Um, having tried to learn some of the basics of other languages of the countries that I've traveled to, and just trying, and you're going to sound like an idiot, and they might laugh at you or something like that when you're trying to speak to someone in another country in their language. But a lot of people really do appreciate that. They appreciate you taking the time and the energy to make the effort, to try to understand their culture a little bit better. What they don't appreciate is you not trying at all and expecting them to speak English, expecting them to cater to your American ways. So, biggest piece of advice for traveling abroad as an American: just try to understand the culture, try to understand the language, just try, and that will go a really long ways. That will possibly open up a lot of doors for you. I know it's opened up a lot of doors for some great opportunities, some great conversations, and some lifelong friends that I don't think I would have had otherwise, had I not tried. So definitely just try to assimilate into the culture a little bit during your time there, and then when you get back to America, you can go back to your normal ways. But people really do appreciate you taking time to understand them. So that's the biggest one, and then I'll touch really quick on being wealthy and how to maybe mitigate some of that, and potentially make yourself less of a target when abroad. One, I think, along with the other ones, being loud, obnoxious, happy, friendly, maybe toning that down a little bit when you're abroad. That can help you blend in a little bit more, which will help you not stick out so much in a crowd when you're abroad, making you less of a target for anything negative, potentially. Also, not wearing any flashy jewelry or clothes or things like that. Yes, you can wear nice clothes and things like that. You want to depend on, it depends on where you're at. If you're in a very fancy area, like maybe in Rome or something, dressing up a little bit nicer is actually probably encouraged. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere where, they've never seen a watch or something like that, probably don't wear fancy clothes for that. Also, I think, we tend to stand out with the clothes that we wear. That just made me think of that. We typically wear things like what I'm wearing right now, which is a shirt that has some sort of, this one's about a running event that I did. Very American type of t-shirt. And so that's definitely going to make you stand out if you're wearing something like this. That's not going to fit in. So it's also very bright, which also is going to make me stand out too. So toning down the colors of what you're wearing, toning down, any sort of, American related theme on the shirts, that can help you as well. And again, just don't be flashy. You don't need to be flashy. I guess you can if you want to, but just be cognizant of what you're doing, because you will stand out when you're abroad if you're doing those things and wearing those types of clothes and jewelry and things like that. And also, I would say, just keep money. If you have cash on you, if you have credit cards on you, that sort of thing, keep them safe. Be aware of your belongings. I know that it gets drilled into our head wherever we go, but I think that is important to know, where your money is, where your livelihood is, especially your passport. That's a big deal abroad. So just keep that safe. Be aware of it. Don't be flashy and stupid with your money and that sort of thing when you're abroad. So hopefully that was some good advice for you. I know it's probably not the most fun topic to think about or talk about, But I think it is important if you want to have a really good trip when you're traveling abroad. I think some of those things are really important to keep in mind as you go along. So again, hopefully that helped you out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe for more content and check out the podcast and other shows that I do. And also, I will say here, hopefully later this week, my website will be launched, which will have everything conglomerated together. So that'll be nice. It'll have everything as kind of a one-stop shop with links to wherever you need to go or want to go. And it's going to have more things like, trips that I've designed that might interest you. You can fill out a questionnaire to have a specifically designed trip if you're looking for something like that. So there's going to be a lot more things there for you. So stay tuned for that. I will be sure to promote it more once that is actually launching. But exciting stuff here. It just keeps coming along. We're still working on the book, so that's coming along as well. But yeah, super excited for the future, and super excited to share more content with you guys and make your next trip as good as it can be, and hopefully inspire you to keep traveling the world and traveling this great country of America, and just seeing what there is out there, because there is so much out in this world. So thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you around the world soon.